Hi, I'm Kane Cornes, and this is what really happened. So today we're going to go to one of the more famous football stories, particularly in South Australia, and it's the showdown at the Ramsgate 2002. Port Adelaide and the Crows had just played on the Saturday night, and Port Adelaide had got the chocolates in a pretty typical tight and tough showdown. They won by 8 points. So that was on the Saturday night. The players from both teams thought they'd go out on the Sunday and enjoy themselves, and a group of Port Adelaide players went out, a group of Crows players went out, and eventually they found themselves at the same pub, the Ramsgate at Henley Beach in South Australia. It was pretty late in the evening when both teams somehow found themselves at the same establishment. That was the Ramsgate Hotel. It was about 11 o'clock that night. I've spoken to my brother about this. Him and some of his other Port Adelaide teammates were just having a pretty casual chat to Crows player Kane Johnson, who they knew from their time playing sample footy at Glenelg together, and they got along very, very well. Mark Rasciuto came over and joined the conversation. It was reasonably friendly, but there was some banter, and I think there was some frustration from the Crows players and certainly their fans, because Port Adelaide had won the last 4 showdowns, which was unusual considering that it's genuinely a 50-50 split, and Port Adelaide seemingly at the time had the wood over the Crows. So that's where I think some of the source of the frustration came from. It got a bit lippy, but nothing too serious about it, when a group of the Crows players actually left the Ramsgate. Now, this hasn't been documented, but Crows players left the Ramsgate, went to another night spot, which was just across the road, continued to have a good time, and few more drinks, a bit more courage came into it, when for some unknown reason, they decided to head back to the Ramsgate Hotel where the Port Adelaide players were. The conversation then struck up between Mark Rasciuto and Josh Carr when Roo asked Josh Carr if he could please join him outside. Now, Josh Carr was unaware why Mark Rasciuto wanted him to join him outside of the establishment. But in the end, we know what happened. There was some sort of push and shove. Mark Rasciuto says that he chucked Josh Carr over the bonnet of a car. Certainly from the people that I've spoken to, there was a serious headlock placed by Rasciuto on Carr, which forced some of Carr's teammates from Port Adelaide to come over quickly and try and sort this out, because they were worried Carr was going to get strangled. So it played out for a little bit. There was a push and shove. There may have been sort of 10 players involved when the two sides decided, gee, we better get out of here. There were some police sirens that were erupting, whether that was for that fight or whether it wasn't. But the players quickly and smartly decided to make their way and scurry away pretty quickly. The funniest thing about this story, though, for me, is that at the end of this fight, when the two teams had left the Ramsgate Hotel, worried that their footy clubs would find out and it would become public, is that Josh Carr decided to turn his phone off, because he knew the phone calls would start from Rob Snowden, who was the footy manager at Port Adelaide at the time, and it wouldn't take long for word to spread. Turned his phone off. At this time, it was about 1 o'clock in the morning, and continued to go out to another spot in the city, because he knew he was in all sorts of trouble. So his logic was, well, I'm in trouble anyway. I'm going to turn my phone off. I'm going to go out. I'm going to have a good night. And he ended up getting home at about 5 that morning before turning into the football club. Remarkably, both clubs weren't that upset by it. And can you imagine today, it would be front page news, certainly in Adelaide, definitely in the other footy states for a good couple of days, but there was only ever a very small write-up in the Adelaide Advertiser on page 13, and that was only 18 years ago. In today's time, this story would have been absolutely massive. At the time, not so much, but certainly the legend of the Ramsgate incident between the Crows and Port Adelaide will live on forever.
Damien Barrett sits down with the coach and unravels what makes this great footy brain tick. A Life in Football brings brilliant insight.
As my kids would say, Damo, all G. All good.
Watch it now on the AFL Live app and afl.com.au, your home of footy.